Our session today is all about digital capacity, digital literacy, particularly around staff. Obviously that then, to some degree also affects students, but we're mostly targeting staff capacity today, which is something that I'm sure is quite pertinent to most of us in a TEL and support kind of role, in terms of how do we assist staff in gaining skills and how do we navigate those spaces in terms of ensuring that staff are confident in using technologies for teaching and learning.
So my name's Caroline Ondracek and I'm the Senior Coordinator Curricular Services in the library, as you can read there. I've been a bit involved in the reference group and part of the work that we're around the Digital Literacies Framework at La Trobe. So I do work in the library, so I guess I'm coming from a library point of view. It has been a university-wide project to date. Now I'll just send the link through to the framework so that you can have a look if you would like while I'm speaking. So let's go to the next page. Whoops, gone too far. Okay, so why have a framework and what's it all about? As you can read there, we think it's a really critical framework, and it's important for the university because it sets out a high level, at a high level what the attitudes, capabilities and understandings that students and staff need to be ready for a digital future. So you can see that we've got like the icon there, our graphic, and you can have it, I don't know if you can see it okay, but you can see it a bit clearer in the framework, the link that I sent you. Okay. So what are digital literacies? We've used the GISC definition of digital literacies. You might be familiar with it and you might not be. You can see there it has 6 elements. So in the middle we've got ICT proficiency, and outside encompassing all the digital literacies we have digital identity and wellbeing, and in there we have smaller elements: information, data and media literacies, digital curation, communication tools, and digital learning and self-development. So I actually did consult with Helen Beetham at the end of 2015 about using the GISC definition. And she was a consultant that we worked with in developing the first consultation draft. So we feel that it's critical, as I mentioned before, to prepare students for an increasingly digital future. So it's critical for the university, for learning and teaching requirements, as well as for our researchers and our researching at the university. And it also helps us to provide a high quality online learning environment. So just to give you some background about the framework, we've had the digital learning strategy at the university from 2015 to 2017. So the Digital Literacies Framework supports that strategy. There's the link below the bottom of my slide as well. So we're focused really around those 3 sort of focus areas, I guess: digital attitudes, capabilities, and self-development and learning. Okay. So I guess from a library perspective, we were using our information literacy policy, procedure and framework, and we realised that while that's a useful document, there was more of a trend and a focus on information literacy in a digital world. And then digital literacies, when we thought about find them, it's actually like a larger conversation that is a bit outside of just the skill set that we would normally practice in the library. So it's a bit more than just information literacy, and it's a bit more than just ICT skills, etc. So from a library point of view, it was a good opportunity to start thinking about digital literacies. We could also see there was a lot of trend well, at a few universities in Australia as well as in the UK. So it's a good opportunity to move forward. So our aspirations in 2017 is to, to have a roadmap for the framework and to include elements of digital literacy into staff development, and then also into student outcomes. Also have staff and students really engaged in a digital environment, and to also have all of our systems, physical, virtual, cultural, the environment at the university, all supporting our digital innovation. Just to give you some more background on the project and the development of how it's been quite a number of years' work, as you've probably already guessed. So in 2015, the university librarian sponsored and led the project, and we have a reference group which has included a lot of different staff across the university. We've had people from research, we've had members from Kate's team, we've had other key stakeholders around the university that have been part of the reference group. So at the end of 15, we were developing a consultation draft. Into 16, we ran some focus groups with our reference group, and we also before that, we did an audit and analysis of staff confidence, engagement and attitudes to digital technologies. So we did have a survey, we had other stakeholder workshops and focus groups, and as I mentioned, we had the reference group as well. So then I guess might have been mid last year that we had the consultation draft. So then we also got feedback on the consultation draft. We have included those changes into the latest version, which I sent you. So it has gone through some university approval processes and it's now live on our website. We've also been invited to participate in the Digital Literacy Tracker, which has just recently closed. So we JISC invited us to the digital literacy, to be involved in the Digital Literacy Tracker. Now, it's like a survey, I guess. Oh, sorry, I've gone too far. I've gone to another slide. I think I've put my slides in the wrong order. Oh, sorry. It's the first time I've ever used Collaborate, I'm embarrassed to say. We were one of 6 university libraries in Australia that were asked to participate in the tracker. We identified some subjects in first year at the university. Now, not all of those are health sciences, so there's an error in my slide, I apologise. We did have some 228 responses from surveys that we sent out in those subjects. And some of those subjects are very large cohorts. As 18 multiple choice questions, it took students about 15 minutes. We didn't have much of choice in terms of the timing of the tracker, but was a good opportunity as a first starting point after the framework has been approved by the university to do a little bit more, to get a little bit more data about what level students were at the moment, especially coming into first year university. That would really help us in mapping out a roadmap and for steps moving forward in terms of how we're going to implement the digital literacy framework, especially in the undergraduate years. So I'll just go back a little bit, and basically now we would like to use that data, as I mentioned, to move forward with the framework. It's a good opportunity for the library staff in the team that I work in, which are the learning and teaching librarians. So we support the library learning and teaching requirements of the academics. So it's a good opportunity for us to be involved, perhaps in undergraduate subjects where we can help to implement digital literacies. Obviously, we would be working with other groups in the university to be able to do that. So definitely educational designers and developers, and we have our academics department as well, that we would all be working together to help implement the framework. So we were grateful that we have been involved in the digital literacy tracker. So just to it would allow the tracker results, we hope, will enable us to benchmark across other institutions, and we hope that the data will be able to give us an understanding of student needs and experiences of technology and online learning, and their knowledge and access to digital tools, activities, etc. We have some preliminary data, and I'll go into that in a minute. I just also, sorry about this. I'm just going to go into the data now, actually, and talk about our early analysis. Now, the tracker closed on the 31st of March, and early April we should, well, now we should be able to get some of the data. So we've been able to get some information, which you can see on the screen there, which is exciting. So I won't go into it too much because I think I'm running over time. I just wanted to also talk about a couple of other things that we are doing that are sort of related to the digital literacy framework. I guess they're tools that we could use to help skill up students and help skill up staff with digital literacy. So 2015-2016, La Trobe was involved in a pilot with Smart Sparrow, and they produce adaptive technology lessons. So we also worked with James Cook University to create 3 lessons, and you can see the names of those on my screen at the moment. One's information literacy, one's media literacy, and one's your digital identity. So last year we converted model, which is your digital identity, to a new La Trobe open access module, which is what you can see on screen. It's called Social Media and Your Digital Identity. So it's a little tool that we could perhaps, well, we have been able to actually embed in 2 subjects so far. It's also very general, so any students in any discipline could get into that module and go through it. So it's a fantastic module. So it just shows, we ask students to sort of analyse their social media use and just makes them aware of personal and academic social media sphere and their digital identity. So feel free to have a look at that. I can send the link around as well in the message. So we've also been involved in the eTextbook Bureau, which is an open access eTextbook platform. We have 3 full text textbooks on there. So we just I just wanted to point those projects out because we think that we can definitely use those in implementing the digital literacy framework. They're just examples of how La Trobe is moving into a more digital future. So I would also like, a lot of our textbooks are in print, but as learning is become, all our subjects are becoming more blended as well as online, and it's good to have open educational resources as well, which showcase La Trobe's teaching. So just very last slide. Now I'm happy to take questions if I'm not running over time.
Thanks, Caroline. Caroline, maybe we'll have a couple quick questions if
sure.
Just because I'm conscious of time. So does anybody have any? No, that's all right. If anybody has any questions, jump in now.
Hi, Caroline, and everyone. Thank you very much, Caroline. That was a really good presentation, and it's evident that you,
Oh, sorry, I stumbled on.
the module, have done a lot of work around this. My question is around actually teaching that learning outcome of digital literacy to students. And I noticed that you have both frameworks for academics and students. And I want to see if you have more feedback from academics' point of view. So teaching students about digital literacy is one, but to do that, academics need to be themselves skilled up to understand that and then teach that as a the learning outcomes. So have you had a lot of feedback and sort of evaluation around that?
We've had a lot of feedback from the consultation draft. So there's definitely, I guess, instances where we're already teaching to students particular digital literacies. The academic might be really up to date with how to use a particular piece of technology. They've stepped the students through it, and the students then at the end of semester can use that technology for communication or something like that. So there are instances where academics are already on board themselves. I guess we definitely would need to make sure that our academic teaching staff are up to speed if they're going to use a particular tool, or they would like to teach a particular digital literacy. Yeah, so we haven't had we haven't really been able to go ahead and roadmap with anything yet. We know that there are instances where digital literacies are being practiced and taught. So does that answer your question? I know it doesn't really, but...
Yeah, no, that's really good. Thank you. And then I think Tom is asking a similar kind of question. Staff preferred to have formal EdTech qualifications to teach, I suppose, literacies?
Okay, great. Thanks, Tom. Are students required, Tom's questions, students required to undertake digital literacy? At the moment, no. So at the moment, digital literacies aren't a graduate capability. So there's no particular capability attached to digital literacies, but obviously in the capabilities that we have, they do tie into digital literacies the way we've put the framework together. And we don't have formal educational qualifications for staff either.
But maybe we can have a conversation about that a bit further at the end, about, I guess, opportunities and things that exist across institutions around formal and informal qualifications. So I'm just conscious of time and that Naomi might need to go. So, but certainly that's something that we could have a more of a conversation about towards the end. So that would be great to keep that moving at the end of the session. Thank you so much, Caroline. That was great to hear about the framework, both for staff and students. And Naomi, if you're ready to go, I'll just bring your presentation up. And can everybody thank Caroline in the meantime?
Much for your time, everybody. I really appreciate it.